Australia defeated Oman last night by 39 runs in their opening match of the 2024 T20 Cricket World Cup. Joining me this morning to discuss and review Australian performance in that match last night is Ben On from Australia. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I appreciate your company. Good morning, Ben, and welcome to the Cricket Forum.
Thank you for having me, Carlton. It's an honour to be
here. I'm getting some feedback there. Yes. Ben, let me start by asking you, please to give us your opinion on Australia's performance last night.
Yeah, Carlton, I think they'll be pretty happy with the way they started the tournament. Obviously, these tournaments, you need to work yourself into them and, slowly build your form up to the right time where you're peaking at the finals. Australia had a bit of a scare last night when they lost 3 wickets early, and Oman were definitely in the game at that point. But I think Australia will take a lot from the partnership from David Warner and Marcus Stoinis, and from there. So, look, I think Australia overall would be happy with that start.
Okay, to me, in the field, it appears that Australia never really pressed the gas. They were like in first gear or probably go to second gear one of the time throughout the Oman innings. How would you rate the Australia? What grade would you give them if you are grading them between 1 to 10?
Look, I think in most departments, I think you'd probably say about a 7. I think they did what they had to do. They were put under pressure in that midpoint of the batting innings. And if another wicket or two had fallen at that point, it would have been very interesting, I think, where the game went to. But that didn't happen. Warner and Stoinis sort of put the game away, I thought. And then, look, in the field, there was probably a couple of moments they'd like to have again, a run-out chance that was squandered. But look, overall, I think they did what they needed to do, and I'd probably grade them as 7.
You probably grade them as 7. Now, that playing 11 last night did not include Pat Cummins. Is that your strongest playing 11? Do the Australians believe that that is their strongest playing 11, or should we expect to see Cummins on Saturday against England?
Yeah, it's a good question, Carlton. I think that you should expect to see Pat Cummins on Saturday. I think Pat Cummins is definitely in Australia's strongest 11. Last night, I think they were resting him. He, of course, captained Sunrisers Hyderabad in the IPL, who went all the way through to the final. And he's had a long flight over here to join the team. So I think they're going to manage their fast bowlers a little bit through this group stage. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell Starc gets a rest at some point as well, especially after cramping last night. So I guess the one question mark is, how will the conditions prompt Australia to start thinking about playing 2 spinners later in the tournament? But when it comes to a pace attack, I think Pat Cummins is definitely in the side.
You mentioned Mitchell Starc leaving the field due to cramp last night. Are you in a position to give us an update on his status?
The Australians are confident that it is just a cramp, nothing more serious than that, and they were just taking no risks with him last night. Does that mean he'll play against England? I'm not sure. There's a couple of Australians training now as we speak. As I said, I think their intention was always to rest the fast bowlers a bit through the first couple of games, so perhaps the cramp will prompt them to consider maybe this is the game to give Mitchell Starc a rest. But having said that, it is England, so they'd like to have him out there. But no, I don't think there's any injury concerns over Mitchell Starc for long term in this tournament.
Finally, Ben, in Glenn Maxwell's last 5 T20 innings for Australia, his highest score has been 25, 20-0. Those 12, should we expect a replacement for Glenn Maxwell like Chris Green?
Not at this point. Not at this point. I think, sure, there is a bit of pressure on Maxwell after a lean IPL series, but Australia have trust in him to produce in the big moments as he did in the 50 over World Cup last year. I think, as long as they've got other parts of the side functioning, I think they'll be patient with Glenn Maxwell to find his form and deliver later in the tournament. But it's a good point you make about Cameron Green, because he has been in good form. He's hitting the ball very hard in the nets and looks in very good nick. So they do have a ready-made replacement there in Maxwell, and someone who is capable of batting anywhere in the lineup.
Okay, that was my final question, but someone in the live chat is saying that Starc look really hurt. Mr. Casanova, as you can see the comment on the screen there. Should we go by what you said, or is he really hurt?
Look, I suppose with these things, you've always got to wait and see, don't you?
Yeah.
we don't always know. We don't always know straight away. But look, there didn't seem to be a lot of concern on the field, I didn't think, from the Australians. Some of that pickle juice was run out to him, which can help with cramps. I think if he was injured, perhaps he would have been walked straight off the field without any deliberation at all. We'll wait and see, Carlton. But at this stage, I think I'm willing to believe the advice.
Okay, Ben. So thank you very much. Could you just please give us your final comment, and probably you want to say a little about the England match on Saturday?
Well, yeah, I'm loving my time in Barbados. First time over here, so really enjoying it. Yeah, the England game would be very interesting. It's hard to get a read on exactly what it means being the group stage, but certainly there's a bit on the line for England because their first match was a washout. So there's a bit of pressure on them to get a result in this match, to stop it becoming a bit of a run rate contest with Scotland potentially. So there's always rivalry between England and Australia, and I'm sure we'll see that on Saturday.
I really appreciate you joining me this morning, Ben, and I thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you Sunday morning when you beat England.
Look forward to it, Carlton. Thanks for having me.
All the best. Now, on another topic, continuing with Australia. Early in Oman innings last night, there was a run-out attempt, as you heard Ben mention it earlier. Clearly, Matthew Wade impeded the Oman batsman from getting back to his crease. He eventually got back there safely. But this was the incident. As you see there, Matthew Wade is blocking the path of the Oman batsman. Now, during the press conference last night, or should I say this morning, I asked Stoinis, would Australia have withdrawn the appeal if the batsman did not make his ground? Listen to what Stoinis replied.
There was a run-out attempted early in the Oman innings. From where I was, it appears that Matthew Wade impeded the batsman, although he eventually got in his ground. Did Australia consider withdrawing the appeal?
No chance.
That was Stoinis. It is clear as day that Wade impeded the batsman. But yet still, Marcus Stoinis was saying that there's no chance that Australia would have withdrawn the appeal. Is this the new age of professionalism? Or is this taking ruthlessness to another level? Or is it plain desperation on the part of Australia against an associate team like Oman? In my opinion, they should not have even appealed. They should not have appealed. When the umpire referred it to the third umpire, to the television umpire, I think what Mitch Starc should have done is to just tell the umpire, no, quash it. Now, I am someone who firmly believes in man-card, because in man-card, the batsman has a responsibility to stay in his ground until the bowler release the delivery. This was an accident, and I did not think Australia should have appealed. Even on the spur of the moment, they appeal, but quickly someone should have stepped forward and withdraw that appeal. Now, the people of Africa and the supporters of Uganda are celebrating this morning. Earlier this week, someone made a post in this community and they rationalized. I believe he was either in a rum bar or he does not know anything about sport and cricket in particular. He rationalized that since West Indies barely beat Papua New Guinea and Afghanistan destroyed Uganda, it is natural to conclude that Afghanistan is going to beat West Indies. I have never heard such poor reasoning before. And that is why I believe that he was probably drunk or he's trying to analyze the wrong sport. For going by his reason, naturally last night, Papua New Guinea should have beat Uganda. But Uganda rose to the challenge. And in a very exciting match in front of empty Providence Stadium in Georgetown, Guyana, Uganda is celebrating a victory today. Their first World Cup, and in their second match, they scored a win. I am so happy for the people of Uganda and all those who support this team from the belly of Africa. Listen to the Uganda captain. I was impressed.
Yeah, this is obviously huge for Uganda. There is no other way to say it. It's massive for Ugandan cricket. To be at a World Cup is one thing, but to pick up a World Cup win, that's something totally different. And yeah, it hasn't sunk in well. We'll probably have to sleep over it, before we understand the magnitude of what that means. But yeah, we've got a passionate group of fans. These guys that traveled halfway across the world to be here to witness this. I'm sure this is more than they expected, when they set off from Uganda. So it was very special for us as a group to give them a win. There's guys back home that have stayed up at night. It's 5:30 in the morning in Uganda right now. So there's guys that have stayed up, to watch this, and I hope they feel as elated as we do. So yeah, a very, very special feeling.
You know what impressed me about Masaba there, the Uganda's captain, is how genuine he sounded, how real he sounded. He wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't putting on a show. He was down to earth, talking about how happy the people of Uganda are. They are up 5:30 in the morning. We can associate ourselves with that feelings. We remember back in those days, early mornings, late night, when West Indies playing in faraway places like Australia, Pakistan, and India. We would stay up very late nights into the wee hour of the mornings. Some persons would not go to work as a result of that because we were so proud listening to our team beat these other countries. So we can associate ourselves with what Masaba said just now and what the people of Uganda are feeling at this moment. Well said, Masaba. You came across so genuinely. You came across so happy. That was real happiness that you showed. And I appreciate the way you spoke. He spoke so eloquently. I am happy for Masaba. Well done, Uganda, and congratulations to Uganda. We are so happy this morning. On Saturday, West Indies is going to play against Uganda. That is a different story, though. West Indies should win that match and should win that match comfortable. I hope to join the pre-match press conference, and then I will ask Rovman Powell or whosoever attend that conference a few questions. But for now, let's celebrate the win of Uganda. But when we step across that rope Saturday night, it will be one team coming out on top, and that is the West Indies. For this World Cup, deep down in my bone, I believe it's ours. I genuinely think that is our World Cup this year, honestly. I thank you for joining me. I hope you slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button. And it's a pleasure having you here this morning. So I'm just going to take some of your comments now. Athena is saying that Australia needs to learn sportsmanship from Asif Sheikh, recipient of the 2022 High CC Spirit of Cricket Award. Athena, I just didn't understand the answer last night from Stoinis. You heard him yourself. He was blunt. He was non-political. He wasn't going around any corner. No chance. No chance, he said. History repeats itself. Remember Sherwin Campbell. Mikel, I'm not quite remembering that incident about Sherwin Campbell, so do you care to explain? Selector Birdman is saying, good morning, Mr. Cricket Forum. Australia has a history of playing dirty, so I'm not surprised with what they did. They are ruthless on all means to win. I do not have an issue with them being ruthless. But what is the difference between professionalism, ruthlessness, and desperation, and sportsmanship? So I think it's one thing to be ruthless, and there's another thing to be highly professional. But then, where does sportsmanship comes in? Is the line blurred, or is it straight, black and white? Mankad again is mentioning Sunil Narayan, and I keep on telling Mankad that while we appreciate he being a part of this community and appreciate he making comments, we really hope that he stay on agenda, because clearly Sunil Narayan is not a part of this agenda, the West Indies team. Mikel is saying that true, Papua New Guinea was a favorite over Uganda, but deserved Uganda to win last night. We are always going to back Uganda over the team from down. I think Papua New Guinea is near Australia and New Zealand, down that side. So I think that we are always going to want the team to win. Orin is saying, good morning, sir. My question to you this morning, do you think that tournament matches were fixed to suit certain teams? Fixes probably, I think you mean the scheduling. It clears. Everyone is saying it that the scheduling seems to suit India and Australia. For example, last night, we were at Kensington Oval up to 12 o'clock last night, 12:30, I think 1 o'clock we leave Kensington Oval. That was like midday in Australia, Thursday. So the Australians were able to watch the match in the day while we were at Kensington Oval midnight watching the match. You know, so the schedule is fixed. Yes, it is clear that the schedule appears to be fixed to suit certain nations. The challenge I have with fixed, though, is that I want to make it clear we are not talking about the results being fixed, but we are talking about the schedule. It came across to me yesterday that if we play India in the evening, if India are playing their match in the evening, like say 7:30 in the Caribbean, 7:30 in the Caribbean is like 7 o'clock in the morning in India. Wouldn't they have 2 bites of the cherry? Because the people in India would be up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And at 7 o'clock in the evening, the people from the Caribbean will be home and could go and attend the matches. So I really think that the Indian matches should have been scheduled for somewhere between 7:30 and 6:30 and 7:30 in the evening in the Caribbean and the USA. For then, the people of the Caribbean will go out and watch these matches. And also, the people of India will be up early in the morning, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, watching these matches. Samuel was saying that I expect Papua New Guinea to beat Uganda. Congratulations. Well, we are so happy. And Kester and a win. Yes, West Indies need to beat Uganda by a good margin. Ken Rice Simpson, my position on that is that winning by a good margin will be good and we'll welcome it. But the first thing I want us to do is to win. I want us to win because I believe that we are going to beat Afghanistan in St. Lucia and we are going to beat New Zealand in Trinidad. So the first thing I want to do is for us to win. Winning by a big margin would be a welcome bonus. Therefore, I take your point. Mr. Casanova is saying that history doesn't repeat itself; it rhymes. Well, I hope you were able to tell me more about that another time, Mr. Casanova. I've never seen that quote before, but thank you for sharing. The Australian incident with Oman, it is a baseball play. In baseball, the catcher many times blocked the home plate to prevent the hitter from getting home. Then that may be the rules in baseball. And no, don't get me wrong. If the batsman was out of his ground and the umpire would have to give him out, my thing that in the spirit of sportsmanship, when clearly Wade fell down, Wade fell into the path of the batsman in trying to effect the run out. He fell. It was not even a case that he was standing his ground to try and collect the ball to effect the run out. He passed the stump. If you look at it here, Wade passed the stump. The batsman was coming back and Wade passed the stump because he fell. And in that instance, I just think that they should have withdrawn the appeal. But every man to his own opinion, every man to his own leading. So that's the situation. Glenn Cambry is saying, cricket has certainly evolved when we talk in cricket with Oman, Uganda, New Guinea, Nepal, etc. I would have said it earlier, Glenn Cambry, I think some time ago. Italy was one catch away from reaching the World Cup. It was against Ireland when they dropped the number 11. At that time, I think Ireland needed 8 runs to win the match or something like that. But the number 11 was dropped. So there's a lot of countries playing cricket. 106 countries, including Brazil, Peru, a lot of countries playing cricket. Some names that you have never known before. Thank you all for tuning in. Please continue to watch the World Cup as we look forward to the West Indies match on Saturday. Later today, those of you living in Jamaica, as you see, I'm in my Jamaican colors this morning. We play a football match against a little team. I think it's Dominican Republic. I don't quite remember. But we play a match against one of those little teams. And so we expected to win that match comfortably. God bless you all. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. And have a wonderful day. Bye for now.